All right, it's time for another segment that we've made. One of our favorites. Hopefully, it's one of your favorites as well. I won the voting last week for In the Bag
Great
by
job.
one percentage point over Trevor.
I went back and I
close.
looked at the plastics that I chose, and I was like, no one was ever voting for those.
Yeah. So
They were good. They just weren't the people's choice.
It is. There's two ways to play this game. I kind of go like every other game with like the one I'll be like try to go people's choice, and the other one I'll just.
I go no strategy. I've decided no strategy.
I was trying to go interesting disc that I thought feel good last time. I
The
wasn't
bright
going for
side-
people's choice.
Bright side,
People
I think
will side with that eventually.
I've already won more Twitter polls this year than last year, I think.
That is big for you. That is growth.
Yeah, right off the bat.
You want to talk about audience growth that you want a Twitter
Bad
poll.
boy Hunter Thomas is gone. Now people like Hunter Thomas.
Now it's Bad Boy Konner.
Man. Yeah, it's Bad Boy Konner.
No, I'm not a bad boy.
Bad Boy Konner.
You only got 19%.
Nobody vote for Bad
No one votes
bad
for
boy.
No one votes for Konner in Twitter polls. That's the thing.
I'm not a bad boy.
And so I get to pick the order. I'm gonna go myself first.
Okay.
Trevor second.
Dang, I'm middling again.
Konner third.
All right.
I'm always the middler.
Middler.
And this week, the topic for In the Bag, if you're not familiar what In the Bag is, basically we each pick 4 things on a certain topic that we would put in our proverbial disc golf bag.
Very proverbial.
So this one is ways to beat in a disc.
Ways to beat in a disc.
I get to start it off.
Okay.
I'm going with, I have so many that I want to pick.
I know, same.
I did not have a chance to really prepare this, which is my own fault.
That's way better though. Winging it in a segment like
not.
this is the best.
I think I'm
took
going
like
with
2 minutes and just scrabbled it down.
Best ways to beat in a disc is just let me play around with it.
That's a great
a
great
good
answer.
one.
That honestly, I didn't even write like play around with it down.
Well, let me play around with it because I will hit trees for
I'll
you.
let you play around with it.
That is a great one.
Trevor.
I'm gonna go ahead and take intentionally throwing at a tree
That's good.
because it's like the natural way to beat in a disc, the same way you would beat it up in a round.
All right.
Intentionally hitting a tree. I've definitely done that multiple times. Never forget me as like a 13-year-old with my champion groove in my backyard, just repeatedly over and over again. And then throwing it after like 10 times and seeing if it goes any straighter at like 200 feet. It didn't.
All right. So I get to choose 2. I have 2 very good ones right off the bat, and then no more. My first one is put it in your dad's bag.
That's
I love it. I love it.
Because I do that if I have a disc that needs to be beat up, leave it in my dad's bag for like a year, and then I come back and it's like a time capsule.
I will say, I gave my dad a lot of my discs at one point, like a lot of my Discraft. And when I see his bag nowadays, I'm like, oh, look at that force. That baby flips up.
Yeah.
Like, I want that again.
Exactly. That
don't have the
Peachy
heart to take it,
That
though.
Peachy Destroyer in my bag, it was in my dad's bag for like 2 years. That's why it's so great right now.
That's funny.
Then I have hammering into a wooden park bench.
Ooh.
So not throwing into it, but it has
Just
to be wooden.
hitting it.
You just take it by the rim and you slam it all around. Keep on rotating and slamming it into it. Because what it's going to do is it's going to do what beating up a disc does by mushing in the rim of the disc. But since it's wooden, it will put no chips into your disc. Because if you did it on like a concrete, you put chips and scratches and stuff in there. But a wooden park bench doesn't change the feel. It only changes the flight.
Okay. That's a good
I've
one.
never done that.
That's a good one.
I've done that literally on the tee before. Where I was like, I really need this disc to flip, and I started hitting against the park bench.
I'm gonna go ahead and take using a dryer.
Dang it.
That just doesn't work though.
No, it's one of the most. It's gotta work.
does work.
Everybody
No,
does
I've
it.
done it. I've done it before. It doesn't work.
It does.
If it didn't work, then not everybody would do it, because like everybody does it and swears by it. Robbie C swears by it. And would you dare cross him?
I would never cross him.
You just crossed him. If you say it never works, you're crossing Robbie C's name.
I've just done it before and it didn't work.
You gotta try it again, man.
No.
Different dryer settings, different disc.
All right, well, I'm now down to, I only have 4, so I hope y'all don't take any of these. My first one is throwing a roller in the parking lot.
Okay.
Parking lot
that.
roller, excellent.
And the other one
Great
I'm going
way to get rid of
take
prodigy flashing.
is run over the disc with a car.
Excellent.
Yeah, I don't
Also have done that.
recommend that way, but it works.
Oh, yeah. Of course it works.
I really feel like that only hurts the flight plate. Doesn't change the rim.
No, because it like on the bottom.
Yeah,
that'll make the disc
that's true.
flippier.
I've got one here that is very autonomous. You don't have to. You kind of it's a set it and forget it method. At least I've kind of found, and that is letting your baby teeth on it.
Oh,
Okay.
Let me tell you, it creates very nice little imperfections in the disc.
But there's just not really good chemicals
Does it work with a
inside of a
dog?
disc, though. So like, it's not good for the baby.
But I don't care about that. I'm just trying to get my disc broken in. And I'm also breaking him in.
Mm-hmm. Does it work with dogs or just babies?
Dogs are their teeth are too sharp.
Okay.
Babies' teeth aren't quite as sharp. They are sharp, but they're also a little, they only have a couple teeth. They're not as aggressive. Oh, they are pretty aggressive. Not quite as aggressive though. I found it because I thought immediately, I was like, how about having your dog chewed? I was like, that's a little too much. I'm like, you know what? Brooks does like the teeth on discs, and it does make just little imperfections in the disc that I think would work great.
Nice.
So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go ahead here and say one, and I do believe it's different, so I think I should be able to get it. Unintentional tree hits. Trevor specifically said intentional tree hits. Mine is unintentional tree hits.
Well, Hunter said playing around with it. That is unintentional tree hits.
Well,
I did say let me play around with it.
So I guess I would just say you playing around with it. You as a person playing disc golf with it until it beats up. I'm trying to say natural tree hits.
I mean, the essence of that answer has been taken.
Okay.
Admittedly.
We're going back to the essence thing. Just kidding. I'm
just saying.
I'm a neutral third party because I'm about to make a similar argument.
Uh-oh.
Okay, well then you gotta allow it then.
Well, no, because if I allow that, it's definitely I don't. Whatever Konner says here, or whatever Trevor says goes. And Trevor, I think, said
it's
no.
fine. I won't. I'm not
flip-flop.
I don't think it's
Snip,
my
snap, snip, snap.
as a somebody who's competing in this. I don't think it's my right to decide. So we will let the fans with their votes decide.
But the fans are just looking at a list.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of people are
listen. So but a lot of fans also don't.
I'll let it stand.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. I don't need to be the judge, jury, and executioner. It's fine.
Well, it doesn't matter. There's no one's going to vote for unintentional tree hits over intentional tree hits. But
I disagree.
My reasoning for unintentional tree hits is it gives you an upside. You hit the tree and you're like, dang it, because you had a bad shot. But you're like, well, on the bright side, that rock's going to flip up a little more now.
Very true.
It's going to turn into a better rock. So that's why I was saying that. And then my fourth one is going to be just let it sit in your car and warp in the sun. Yeah. Because there's like every once in a while, you just have that disc that sits in your car for months in the sun, and you take it out, flips up way more than the last time you threw it.
That's true.
And you're like, hey, that kind of works.
Yeah.
I didn't like this disc anyway.
Trevor, your final one?
My last one is going to be sandpaper.
Very illegal.
Yes. Well, of course. You do.
Technically, probably all of these are.
Yeah, you definitely want. Yeah, we don't endorse any of these as legal activities. But
if you're not playing in PGA events, do whatever the frick you want.
Sandpaper, you want fine grit sandpaper. This actually can accomplish a few things. This can, if you're beating up your disc in other ways, like hitting trees and you get gashes, you can smooth out those gashes so I
believe that is illegal.
That is legal. Yes. And then also you can use it just to give it a little scrape. If you have a beaded disc, one of the quickest ways to take stability out of a disc is if it's beaded, to start getting rid of that bead. And if you sand a bead down a little bit, you will instantly make that disc flippier. That is a fact. So sandpaper is a very good tool for breaking in a disc.
My final one is just play Northwood Black.
That's a funny answer.
That is a funny answer.
Hardest, most wooded course out there.
That's probably a single disc round at Northwoods Black might be the best way to beat in a disc.
Yeah, I thought of it. I was like, I feel like I can't play around in Northwoods Black without.
If we get out there next year, that would be a very funny video to do. Is like how beat in does our disc get playing just with one at Northwoods?
Yeah.
Like we take like one like baseline disc out there and just see how it flies at the beginning at the end.
We could just do that in New London. Not wooded enough, I guess.
It's not wooded enough.
We could do it at Hideaway Blues.
Hideaway would work.
Go to Hideaway Blues with a DX Destroyer.
Whoever's disc like still has the most. Yeah, it had
most stability
a DX
wins.
Driver because it's gonna really hit those edges and just get. We go
most stability wins at the end. Like score doesn't matter.
We let like Konner throw them both unbiased and see which one he thinks. That'd be so funny.
Yeah, most stability wins at the end. Score does not matter.
So it's just like avoid the trees.
Avoid the trees.
That could be a very boring round because you could be jumping.
Okay, maybe
I think
we'll figure out a way to.
Yeah, score
we'll
would have to
brainwork
matter.
it. Score matters a little bit.
It'd be like two different. Maybe there's like 3 points to it. Like
or
score.
It's just like a 50-50. Just like
if it's 50-50, if I win one, Trevor wins one, to tie.
You can't tie.
I think that.
Well, maybe we have a tiebreaker and it's a distance competition with the destroyers. There, solved.
Boom, roasted.
We got a video.
Got video.
Man, I love when we brainstorm on this show.
That's just how it happens.
I'm gonna write that in the Google sheet real quick.
All right.